Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Lane Hoffert. The Russ Robertson Arena, home of the Lakeland Rustlers women's hockey team, is set to get some upgrades, but not without requiring additional funds from the city. Since opening the Russ in 1976, the Russ Robertson has served the community as a secondary arena to the Civic Center. As it stands now, changes need to be made on the ice level.
A significant movement of 10 millimeters, which is about half an inch. Not a lot of movement when somebody thinks about, oh, I'm sure the road moves that much, but when you have the artificial ice and the concrete with the piping inside that carries the ammonia to ensure that there's artificial ice, and that piping is 48 years old, it's brittle.
The arena pad replacement was initially supposed to cost $67,000. But the project is under budget by $23,000. These costs are necessary in order to ensure the arena remains usable.
In the season, we'll lose some of that ice, if not the entire ice surface. It also has had effects on the boards, I understand, so the boards are no longer remaining straight, so they're shifting. So we need that reporting to make sure we make the best decision moving forward for the Russ Robertson. The building is in great shape, but sooner or later something has to give, and the concrete is given its life after 48 years.
The project is anticipated to take place in 2025. Health Canada is visiting communities to raise awareness of the dangers of buying secondhand products. Our Leanne Sanders sat down with their spokesperson to find out more.
I am here today with Dana Mickelson from Health Canada, and we're talking about purchasing secondhand goods and what's safe and what's not. So thank you for joining me here today. Tell me a little bit about your role with Health Canada and what you do.
Yeah, I'm a product safety officer with Health Canada. So one of my primary roles is to inspect consumer products, including secondhand products, to make sure they comply with current Canadian safety requirements.
Okay, so one that everybody seems to be quite familiar with is secondhand car seats, say. They know that there are safety issues with those. Are there any other products that you commonly come into contact with that need to be examined a little closer?
Yeah, a lot of our safety requirements apply to children's products, toys and gear like car seats, cribs, strollers, bassinets, toys. So we do look to make sure those products meet safety requirements. But our legislation applies to all consumer goods.
Okay, so one of the things I think a lot of people are doing now is upcycling. Does that present a challenge in your line of work? Well,
the legislation does apply to new and used products. So we just encourage consumers to take certain safety precautions when they're looking at considering buying a secondhand product. There's a few things they can do. One would be to check to make sure the product hasn't been recalled or that it isn't a banned product in Canada. Another thing, quick thing they can do is to make sure that the important labeling and use instructions have remained with the product. Because often there are those instructions and warning labels on the new product, and sometimes they get removed or get separated from the original product. Another thing would be to make sure the product is in good condition. So just make sure that, you know, there's no damage, there's no visible damage, there aren't any missing parts or missing components that could pose a safety hazard.
Okay. Are there any products that you should never buy secondhand?
Yeah, we do have a list of banned products in Canada. So they should never be purchased and used secondhand. They should never be purchased and used new as well. And a few of those would be, there's a few that are used with children. So one would be baby walkers. They're banned in Canada. Another one are infant self-feeding devices. And also plastic baby bottles with the chemical called bisphenol A.
Now, obviously people are buying a lot of things online these days from different countries, and they don't maybe have the same safety standards Canada has. Do you have any advice for people that are looking at things online where they should check whether they're safe or not?
Yeah, that's really important because we really have almost a global marketplace these days. We can go online and purchase from all sorts of countries. And so Canadians should really be aware of what the safety requirements are in Canada. And we do have publications on our website that can give guidance to consumers on what the safety requirements are for products in Canada.
Okay. Are you able to tell me what the website address is?
Yeah, if you go in onto a browser, you can put in the search terms Health Canada, product safety, information for shoppers of secondhand products, but the information also applies to new products as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to add about this topic? I know that it could probably go on for quite some time with the number of products that are out there.
Just that, you know, we'd like to bring awareness to the public who also are selling products, like say at a garage sale they're going to hold. It's important for people to know that the safety requirements for their personal products also apply, and they do have a responsibility to make sure that they meet safety requirements and haven't been recalled.
Right. I was just thinking that a lot of people probably, if they did purchase something from another country that's not easily returnable, they might try to sell it secondhand. And could they face a penalty or a charge if they are selling something that's banned or not properly working or something like that?
We focus on the commercial marketplace, not personal sales of consumer goods. Our focus with private sales of consumer products is to inform and educate.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this goes a little ways toward that goal. And I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's time now for another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. She talks to Stephanie Dobson about how speaking with children about parents going through separation and divorce can be difficult, but there are tips to make that conversation a bit easier.
Stephanie Dobson is back with us this week. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankin Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Edmonton and here in Lloydminster. It's time for another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks again, Stacey.
Well, this week we are going to be talking about something that is kind of a difficult subject in some cases, and that's talking to kids about divorce.
Yeah, divorce, of course, can be a really sensitive topic that can be challenging to discuss with children. So it's really important to address this subject in a thoughtful and honest manner to help kids navigate their emotions and really understand the changes that are happening in their family dynamic. So without further ado, let's get into some tips about talking to your kids about the divorce.
Okay, well, the first one, Stephanie, is that timing is the key.
Right. It's really important to choose a time when you and your children can have a calm and uninterrupted conversation, and making sure that there's no distractions so that everyone can focus on the discussion. I've had some clients where they say, exams are coming up. We want to wait until after exam time or after a piano recital or something, dance recital, to talk to the kids. So choosing that timing is really important.
Okay, and the next one is to be honest.
So while it's important to be really truthful with your children, of course, it's really important to share information that is age appropriate. So that's going to depend in every case. And you may want to choose to talk with your children individually as opposed to your children as a group, depending on their ages and their age range. So use language that they can understand and avoid, of course, sharing any unnecessary details that may cause confusion or distress to them.
And tip number 3 is to reassure them.
So it's really important to let your children know that they're not to blame for the divorce and that both parents still love them unconditionally. Of course, as parents, that goes without saying, but it's really important because kids wonder about these kind of things. It's really important to reassure them that they will be supported and cared for throughout the process.
Okay, and the next one, Stephanie, is to listen to their feelings.
Well, it's of course important to encourage your children to express their emotions and validate their feelings and let them know that it's okay, whatever their emotions are, sad, angry, confused, or any other kind of emotions, and provide them a safe space for them to share their thoughts.
Okay, and the next one is to maintain a routine.
Well, it's of course a period of transition. So it's really important to maintain stability by sticking to regular routines and schedules. And that provides a sense of security for the kids amidst all of this change that's taking place for them.
Okay, the next one is to avoid conflict.
So it's important to avoid conflict at all times, whether it's when you're talking with the kids or otherwise, but it's important to keep any disagreements or conflicts between the parents away from the kids. So when you're talking about the divorce with the children, it's really important to be on that same page with your co-parent and to refrain from speaking negatively about the other parent in front of the kids. And of course, this can be harmful to their well-being.
And number 7 in our list of tips, Stephanie, is to seek support.
So, if needed, it might be important to seek professional support to help the children through the divorce process. That professional guidance can really help the children cope with their emotions and adjust, of course, to their changes in their family structure.
And the next one is to encourage open communication. Why is that important, Stephanie?
Well, of course, it's important to foster an environment where your children feel really comfortable talking with you about their concerns and then asking questions. And it may not be at the time when you tell them about the divorce, but it may be in the days or weeks to come. So, really try to maintain that open communication.
Okay, and the next one involves co parenting, which, as we've spoken about many times, can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's really important if you can to try to talk with your kids together with your co-parent. And really, even before you talk with your kids, is to collaborate with your co-parent on how the discussion will go and what you guys want to talk about with your kids.
Okay, and the last one, and this could very well be the most important, is to take care of yourself.
Well, of course, and I thought I would add this one in because we want to, of course, remember to prioritize self-care during this challenging time. Managing your own emotions and well-being is essential for being a source of strength and support for your children.
All right, Stephanie, great tips. Thank you once again, as always, and we'll be back next week for another conversation.
Perfect. Thanks, Stacey.
The BioClean Aquatic Center is where all of the swimming events are taking place for the 2024 Sask Summer Games. Our Thomas Wildman has more on the latest day of swimming.
It was an exciting final day at the pool with the last medals handed out. While there was some good showings from all the teams, a majority of the medals handed out were to Regina and Saskatoon. Some individual athletes will be bringing home lots of hardware, but for Landon Kennedy, he was really happy to bring home the relay medal alongside his team.
It was pretty great. The boys on my relay team, they're great guys, they're really fast, and I think we did really good.
And for Max Zhao, another member of Team Saskatoon who had an excellent 3 days, he was happy his teammates as well as his coaches and family were there to support.
To be honest, being here would have been really hard without my friends, such as Theo and Aiden, and Anik, Hannah, and Rowan, and my dad, most of all.
So that will complete the first 3 exciting days here at the Sask Summer Games. The next slate of sports will begin on Thursday and finish up on Saturday. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
Saskatoon won the gold medal in soccer after narrowly beating Parkland in a shootout. The victory means that soccer has wrapped up at the Saskatchewan Summer Games. Today's final match was fought hard by Saskatoon and Parkland. The game was not finished after both regulation and overtime, meaning they would have to go to a shootout. Saskatoon won, giving their players both a gold medal and a feeling of victory and pride.
I had a lot of fun with my teammates, and I met new people.
Even though the victory was pretty sweet for Niebly and his teammates, it was not the only great part about getting to compete in the Saskatchewan Summer Games.
I've been playing soccer since I was born. Yeah, so let's say like 2. Yeah.
The experience of playing soccer, winning big, and meeting new people didn't just start at the Summer Games. Binley has been playing soccer for a very long time.
I feel really proud. It's a good thing for our city. It's a good thing to win for them. Yes.
Even though soccer has wrapped up, the Saskatchewan Summer Games are still in full swing until Saturday. Now let's look at your agriculture prices. Tomorrow has an 80% chance of a thunderstorm, becoming windier with a high of 30. Friday is windy and mostly cloudy and a bit cooler with a high of 19. And Saturday has a 60% chance of rain, windy, and a few morning showers, high of 22. And that's all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks for watching.